Enter.
Hello? It's me. It's Rahmi Ramazi.
Sir Ramazi, have you come at your master's behest?
Not today, ma'am. I've come to see Sir Jovault. That is, as long as he's not too busy with his own duties. And it's very nice to see you as well, of course.
Sir Ramazi, why do you still have a Killoran's weapon at your side?
Rizea's orders, ma'am. After speaking with him about the matter, we've agreed that I will continue to wield Zyphoros after all.
That cannot continue. Sir Ramazi, I believe I was clear enough in my request the first time. That weapon is meant for a Killoran's hands, and none other. The decision is not Rizea Fauric's to make, but the weapon is his to wield. Even if he does not venture onto the battlefield as much as he once did, the sword is his, and it is more important that it remain in his hands than for it to be used. I have no desire to see you come to harm by the burden of that blade.
I understand what your request was, Rajanus, but my master's orders take priority for me, and I am not to relinquish Zyphoros for any reason until he says I should. You have my apologies for refusing you, but I'm going to abide by Rizea's wishes in this matter, harm or not.
Sir Ramazi, your dedication is an admirable thing indeed. Yet I cannot help but wonder if it is truly serving you. Rizea Fauric is a dangerous man to his enemies, but indeed perhaps more so to those who would call him ally.
Opinion acknowledged, ma'am. I'm sure Rizea will be pleased to hear that you have such an interesting outlook on his power.
He is well aware. He resents any attempt at being guided. He desires a great change in the land we know, one untenable with our people so divided. He believes himself more fit to rule than I. Passing Zyphoros to you represents a most admirable change in his principles, if a true gift. Rarely is he so willing to cede control of power to another. Yet, I fear it is only the latest move in a long game, one in which his chosen allies are merely pawns. I worry only of your welfare, Ramazi. Would he truly show such loyalty to you as you do to him?
You aren't the first person to question the nature of my position in relation to Rizea, Rajanus, and I don't think you'll be the last. But you don't have to worry about me. Serving Rizea and trusting in him is my own choice. Whatever consequences that may yield, if any at all, I accept them entirely. I mean, what sort of knight would I be if I wavered every time someone else reminded me of how powerful he is? Loyalty's practically in my job description, after all.
In that case, I can do little but ask you once more. Please return that blade to the hands of Rizea Fauric. Inform him that if he persists in his defiance, I may be forced to confiscate Zyphoros, as he seems so disinclined to use it himself. My offer of reassignment still stands.
Are you all right?
I was just hoping that I could have maybe one good day for a change. But, I'll be fine. It's you I came to see after all. So, how's your guard duty been?
The ledge side of the waterfall's pool is safe to sit upon, if you would like to rest.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry if that whole thing made you uncomfortable at all, Florian. I don't want to cause you any problems by visiting.
It's no trouble. My mistress typically conducts her business without drawing attention to me, and I am usually content not to interrupt. You seem exhausted. I am sure my lady did not mean to imply that she suspected you of any wrongdoing. You spoke well. When you protested her, I mean.
Oh, thank you. I've at least picked a little of that up from Rosea. Talking well, I mean. I don't mean to seem so low energy, but there's a lot going on lately. Hey, come here. Why don't you sit down with me for a sec?
I fear my plate armor may not afford me the freedom of movement. No apologies needed at any rate. I only worry that the risk of bad dreams would only compound your distress.
I told you already. I don't mind whatever comes in my dreams if it means I can spend time with you. You're nice to be around, Florian. Your caution about that is really kind of admirable, you know?
It's a protective measure. A knight's duty is to protect, is it not? That calling often comes with grave personal duty. For me, that happened to be solitude. And you can say what you wish. I have already agreed to only oppose you to a certain extent.
I'm just saying, not everyone would have the strength of will to put others first the way you do. It's something you choose to do for others, and I think that's a very powerful thing in itself. It just makes me wonder about you. Even when you'll never know so many of them because of how things are, protecting others is really that important to you?
I certainly hope knowing someone isn't a prerequisite for wanting them to live safely and happily.
Of course not. But I mean, the world in general, I guess. Even though it hasn't offered you the kindest of situations, you've still... What do you fight for, Florian? What exactly is it that drives you to protect others?
It's all I can do. I owe a debt to this world by imposing my life upon it. I have to make amends for the damage caused by my curse, and my father's. And I have to repay the Killaren who took me in when I had nothing.
But your life is just as important as every other one in this world. I understand repaying your mistress, but everything else, that's something you put on yourself. Not everyone could be so selfless. What if you could do more, though? If you didn't have to keep yourself away from others, if your heritage weren't a problem, do you think you'd like going out and helping more people? What do you think you'd do, if you could?
Hypotheticals are not my concern, Rahmi. I don't think about it much. I have little talent for anything else but standing guard and fighting. I imagine I would be able to fulfill a broader scope of command for my mistress, but...
Well, even still, it's less about what she'd want you to do and more of what you'd like doing. You know? It's not like I'm a big bag of tricks either, but the few things I have prioritized in learning, well, at least in part, I did them in hopes of growing closer to other people, to communicate and learn from, and help them as much as I could. So, I wonder what you might like doing, if you had the chance. It's still worth at least thinking about, you know?
I suppose I'd never given it much thought. Many things never seemed relevant to me or my life. I cannot imagine being close to a mortal without fearing for their welfare. And I cannot imagine knowing someone as anything other than a professional peer or a master.
But you keep going on anyway. You're that satisfied with living this way for the sake of keeping others safe? You just go day in, day out without looking forward to a more hopeful future for yourself?
I can hope for change, or I can find contentment in the present I know. The latter seems more sustainable.
It isn't impossible. I want to help you find that change, Florian.
What change? I can hardly find it within me to imagine it, let alone actively seek it out. Forgive me, but I think perhaps you simply want me to see the world the same way you do.
No. I want you to have hope. Even when you can't imagine change, that doesn't mean it's not there. There are impossible things out there. Good things, bad things, things that make the thought of existing seem entirely pointless. And things that make it seem like there's nothing more beautiful than the world and life. I'm not saying you have to see the world like I do, but you need to. You got carried away. I apologize. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. I didn't mean to be so imposing about it, though.
No need to apologize, I suppose. After all, I've already accepted that you grow quite excited about things that are beyond my grasp. But really, ultimately, I have a duty to my master before I have a duty to myself. You said the same, I believe, just a moment ago.
I did, huh? But I want to help you. I want you to get to know more of the world that you're working so hard to protect.
A bit idealistic, but well-intentioned, I can see. I cannot imagine how it would feel. By now, the curse is a part of who I am. Strange as it may sound, well, losing it would be painful, I suppose. It's difficult to imagine such a different life.
I guess I could kind of understand. I've been looking for my sister Tana for 7 years now. Her being gone and things being missing is such a big part of who I am that I sort of don't know what it'll be like when I find her again. Or what I'll be like. I can't ever go back to being the person I was before she disappeared. I know it's not the same, but I can at least understand what you mean. Good or bad, changes are still changes, right?
Yes. But still you pursue.
I do. Because I have hope. I know I might find something I don't like. Or find nothing at all. But Tana always had hope when we were young. And that hope, even in the worst situations, always gave us a way to come through. So when I find her, I've got to have enough hope for both of us, in case she needs it. And even more, I want to have enough to share it with anyone else in the world who needs it too. Just like she did. I'll always carry on what she left for me. A hope for something better.
You know much more of protection than I do, it seems. I hope to one day know the same strength of purpose that you do.
You're already taking the first step. Just hold on to that hope, and then you'll find your purpose too.
Perhaps. Rahmi, do you...
Sir Ramazi, your master Razea seeks you.
Oh. Well, I ought to go to him, if that's the case. It was very nice speaking to you, Sir Jovault. Thank you for giving me your time.
Nobody else will take it. Good fortune, Sir Romazi.
And to you, Sir Jovault.